Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to be here and talk to you about the new offering from Microsoft. My name is Görkan Salk, and I'm the GM for Dynamics 365 Project Operations. I will be co-presenting this session with my colleague, Rupa Mantravadi, who will provide an end-to-end demo of our application at the end of the session. Project Operations is a new offering from Microsoft and will generally be available on October 1st, 2020, so in less than a month. In this session, I'll talk about the market and the business problem that our application is addressing. I will cover the Project Operations vision and strategy. We'll provide an overview of our product capabilities and competitive differentiation. And then I will end my part of the session with a call to action, and we'll turn it over to Rupa. Dynamics 365 Project Operations is a business application that will be used by services organizations or services divisions within product organizations that have project-intensive services. If you look at the services economy has been evolving rapidly over the past few years. What we see from analysts and also from our own customer base is that these organizations are the quickest to adopt cloud-based solutions and leverage automation heavily. And there's a good reason for this, as they need the ability to quickly respond to customer and business demand shifts with innovative and valuable service offerings that can be delivered on time, within budget, and on scope. If you look at a product organization, introducing a new offering is a long and capital-intensive process. They need to design the product, pilot it, prepare the manufacturing facilities, build up inventory, and only at that point can they serve the new offering to market. That's not the case, however, for services businesses. They can create a new offering very quickly. They can shift focus from an existing offering to another one very quickly as well. Although these organizations are very quick to go to the cloud, their application landscape within the organization is very siloed. They usually have a sales system where they track their leads and opportunities. Their project managers use different project management tools where project execution is being tracked. Project financials and profitability is usually tracked in yet a separate system. Project team members enter their time and expenses in yet different tools. Consultant skills and profiles are tracked in a different application. And practice managers use a variety of tools to manage risk. Merging the data from all these siloed applications to derive insights becomes a challenge and introduce many inaccuracies in the process. And I can talk to this to my personal experience when I was running a dynamics practice in Microsoft Consulting Services many years ago. And we had a similar challenge. We had an application footprint where we had more than 10 systems where our project data was being stored. And twice a year, we would go to the workforce planning exercise to prepare our hiring and readiness plans for the next 6 months. We would look at opportunities we have won and lost. We would look at our resource utilization, taking into consideration pre-sales as well as delivery work. We would look at our P&L to see the most profitable project as well as the most successful ones. And this exercise would take us anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks and was very error-prone. But the insights that we would derive from this exercise was very valuable, right? We would see the skills that were in demand in our resources. We would, for instance, see that Dynamics is in demand, and we would train resources in underutilized practices on Dynamics, and we would change our hiring strategy accordingly so that we hired resources with Dynamic skills. Getting such insights twice a year is obviously unacceptable in today's world. With Project Operations, you can get these types of insights in real time now. In this slide, I'll talk a little bit about Dynamics 365 Project Operations and the high-level capabilities, and obviously during the demo, we'll dive deeper into those capabilities. If you look at Project Operations, we have end-to-end capabilities all the way from opportunity management to project accounting. Our project sales capabilities are built on top of Dynamics 365 Sales, and support the opportunity to quote process in a project context. Project-specific features include CPQ-type capabilities for resources, so that resources can be priced and cost on multi-dimensions such as experience, skills, and geographical location. For instance, a .NET architect with 5 years experience who's based out of the US would be priced and cost differently from a .NET architect with 5 years of experience who's based in Germany. And our CPQ capabilities are configurable, so you can add additional dimension based on your business's needs and then model them using project operations. Project sales capabilities also include creation of a WBS or the project plan for an opportunity, resource the WBS or the project plan with generic resources, price and cost these generic resources, and turn this into a quote. And then once the opportunity is won, the project is handed over to the delivery team where the project manager is assigned to the project. Using project operations, the project manager and the delivery team are able to get a full history on the opportunity where they can see the project plan and the assumptions made during pre-sales. That's a traditional challenge for services organizations where usually the delivery team goes in and no proper handover from sales to delivery has happened. The assigned project manager then will work with the resource manager to resource the project. The resource manager is a persona who has visibility into all the projects and resource requests as well as resource availability across the organization. He or she, in collaboration with the project manager, will assign the optimum team to the project, maximizing profitability and resource utilization and minimizing cost. Obviously, if you don't have a resource manager persona in your organization, project operations also supports the resourcing by the project manager directly. So that's a configurable option that you have as you deploy project operations. Once the project team is resourced, the project will start executing and team members will start entering time and expenses, where time will accrue to revenue and expenses will accrue to cost. If it's a time and material project, the customer will be invoiced at certain intervals. We also support the fixed fee type models, where the customer will be invoiced at certain intervals, at certain milestones, as the project reaches those milestones. At this point, the organization will start recognizing revenue and the portion of the project that has been invoiced and post the project journals. And through the capabilities of the Power Platform, there are several customer insights that project operations will surface for all the different personas involved, such as resource utilization, profitability. So these are the high-level main capabilities that you can expect to see in project operations, and down below you'll see the different personas that will be using the application. Obviously, the COO and the practice director would be the executive stakeholder. They would be very interested in the health of their project business, whether that's P&L and then resource utilization. The account manager would be the salesperson. That would be using the project sales capabilities. We talked about the project manager. The partner manager would get involved if you're outsourcing any part of the project to another vendor or subcontractor. And then the team members and the resource manager we have touched upon as well. The project accountant would be the persona that would be doing the revenue recognition and the project financials. So although project operations is a new offering, we're no stranger to this market. Our journey here started with us developing project capabilities in our AX platform many years ago that are now available as part of our project management and accounting and expense modules within finance. We also have the project service automation solution in market that provides very rich front-end capabilities such as sales and resource management. We also have the market leader in Microsoft Project for project planning capabilities that target the project and portfolio management markets. Project operations is built by combining best-in-class capabilities from these three applications. And you may have seen our new offering from Microsoft Project called Project for the Web that was released last October. Project for the Web runs on the Dynamics platform and its capabilities will be embedded and leveraged within project operations so that our customers can use Microsoft project planning capabilities directly within their business application. We're certainly very excited to be bringing to market an offering with such breadth and depth capabilities. And if you look at our competitive differentiation and our unique value, these can be summarized in three pillars, right? The broad and deep capabilities that exist in project operations are made possible by the platform investments that we have made over time in our Power Platform by bringing CRM-type capabilities and ERP-type capabilities closer together. These investments include investments in virtual entities and dual write. If you look at the space, many vendors in the space come either from a traditional CRM background or they come from a traditional ERP background. Vendors that come from an ERP background have very strong and rich backend capabilities. Vendors coming from a CRM background have very rich and deep front-end capabilities, but not very rich deep-end capabilities. So Microsoft is uniquely positioned to bring to bear a solution that's rich end-to-end. If you look at the second pillar here, with Microsoft Project embedded directly within project operations, project managers will be able to manage and execute their projects using their native tool directly within their business application. So you don't have the challenge anymore of bringing your project managers into the business application, having them enter and update the project progress status within the business application. This all will happen seamlessly in the back end as project managers update their project, assign new resource to the tasks or move tasks around all the time, and then the cost will be seamlessly captured within the business application. Last but not least, with all project business related data from opportunity to project financials being captured directly within CDS, you will be able to get real-time insights that will light up key capabilities such as on-time demand and workforce planning. On this slide, I would like to talk a little bit about our industry coverage and go-to-market. Project operations is a horizontal workload where we leverage the industry expertise of our extensive partner ecosystem to go to the last mile to serve customers in a specific industry. For most industries, this will be in the form of the implementation partner extending project operations using the capabilities of the Power Platform to our customers' needs and adapting it to their business processes. For other industries, we have partner industry solution in AppSource that will accelerate the implementation. All in all, through an extensive partner network who specialize in the space, we have the means to address the needs of service organization in all different industries. I would also like to talk a little bit about our better together scenarios with apps in our Microsoft portfolio. To mention a few, through integration with Teams, we allow for project teams or sales teams to collaborate effectively and share documents in a team setting. Through our out-of-the-box integration with finance, we have very rich capabilities that will combine our finance capabilities together with our project operation capabilities to serve as a service-centric ERP. Our marketing and sales out-of-the-box integration provides a comprehensive lead-to-order process that addresses both project and project sales needs of an organization. And with the integration that we have with field servers, you are able to manage a central resource pool, whether these resources go to work orders or assigned to projects. So these are the high-level capabilities that you will find in project operations. And here you can see capabilities all the way from project sales to project financials with project planning capabilities where we will leverage Microsoft Project. So I won't go into the details of all of our capabilities, but we have a very rich and deep end-to-end offering with project operations here. And last but not least, I would like to leave you with this call to action. So we have announced our public preview of project operations on June 25th. And we have been in preview ever since. So we had very high demand and a lot of requests for the preview. If you have not tried out project operations, please go there and try out our preview. Again, our general availability will be October 1st. So that's all for my part. Thank you again for joining us. I will be handing it over to Rupa now for an end-to-end demo.
Thank you for the overview on project operations, Gherkin. I'm very excited to demo project operations today and bring to life some of the key value propositions it offers for project organizations. Project operations is a comprehensive product that helps project-based companies manage all of their business processes around projects, starting from sales to invoicing, revenue recognition, and project accounting. It can help manage processes for both billable as well as internal projects. We'll start with the dashboards in the product. Here's a practice management dashboard that highlights KPIs for the whole practice, like costs, sales, and margin month over month, resource utilization, and hours. We also have a dashboard for resource manager that shows demand by role, by month, current utilization versus demand. A dashboard for billing administrators that shows billing backlog by customer, by contract, and helps manage what is ready to invoice and not simply with the click of a button. The product is built on highly extensible and configurable Power Platform that allows for creating visualizations using Power BI and CRM dashboards. So you're not limited by what is shipped with the product, but can build any visualization to highlight any KPI that's important for your practice. Let's proceed to take a look at the processes supported by project operations for projects. Let's start where it starts. For a billable project, the typical flow starts from an opportunity. Here's a project-based opportunity in project operations. It has data that captures the high-level understanding of the deal and the overall stage in the life cycle represented as a business process. Each opportunity can be used to generate multiple alternative quotes. A salesperson building project proposals for clients is empowered with the latest, date-effective, and customer-specific price lists for labor and expenses that support multiple currencies and units. Pricing can be set up for labor based on roles and different geographies, and can also be set up for expense categories. Project-based quotes are tailored for project-based sales with the ability to understand project-specific contracting models like fixed price, T&M, and retainer-based models with not-to-exceed limits that are tracked and enforced by the system as the project gets into execution. Each alternative quote can be priced differently with different staffing models, and the system evaluates the estimated margins and its competitiveness. Top-down or bottom-up estimation models are supported during bid phase, where estimation done on a project plan can be used to build proposals very quickly and easily. Project planning in project operations is supported by Microsoft Project's advanced scheduling engine with project calendars, working hours, task constraints, and scheduling logic that is cognizant of a resources calendar to allow for real-time and realistic estimation of task and overall project completion dates. Project managers can work with an interactive Gantt and Kanban boards to manage work on their project that best fits their working style. The interaction patterns and power editing capabilities with undo, redo, copy, and paste are sure to delight every project manager that works with project operations. Enterprise resource management capabilities offered by project operations are designed to scale the needs of a gamut of sizes of project-based practices, ranging from single-digit project workforce to multiple thousands of billable resources. Resource scheduling in project operations offers searching for resources based on skills, availability vis-a-vis the project's demand timeline, geography, and any other custom or configurable filter criteria. Resource working calendars are compared to project requirements to suggest resources that best meet the needs of the demand. Project managers can leverage these capabilities themselves and staff people on tasks, or can work in a centralized resource management model and request a staffer or a resource manager to fulfill the demand while balancing resource utilization targets. When centralized resource management is involved, interactions between the project managers and resource managers can be tracked and traced via a request and proposal system, with the eventual acceptance or rejection of the proposal by the project manager. Time and expense entry and approvals are supported with friendly web experiences and UCI-based mobile apps in project operations. Time entries can be manually entered or copied from week to week. Time entries can also be generated from a resource's bookings on the project or their assignments to specific project tasks. External and internal comments can be entered by consultants working on projects. External comments can be made available on invoice details to the end customer. Advanced functionality on expenses allows to set up policies that can be enforced so that expenses entered are valid and therefore help to reduce corrections and rework, and thereby optimize and shorten invoicing cycles for projects. Time and expenses can also be corrected or recalled to ensure that errors, if any, are captured early in the life cycle of a project. Submitted but unapproved time or expense entries can be recalled at will by the consultant, but recalling approved time entries will result in a recall request that has to be approved by the project manager. The project manager can also, independent of the consultant, cancel previously approved time or expense entries to correct billable hours or chargeability and reapprove. All financial activity during a project's execution is made available to the project accountant so that they can make any accounting adjustments as needed and post this activity to the project subledger and eventually to the general ledger. The project accountant can review sales tax codes, distributions, and subledger entries to understand the GL account code and financial dimensions that will be impacted by this specific project activity around cost or sales backlog. Reviewing this journal can also be automated using the batch or automated processing infrastructure that's available in project operations. Project tracking helps project managers track progress all the way down to a leaf node task, and also allows a project manager to override remaining work to trigger a re-estimate of effort, cost, estimated revenue on the project using ETC and EAC calculations. With the changes that I made to the remaining work on transportation and hoisting tasks, we can see a positive schedule variance of 3 hours on the transportation task, which is now expected to finish 3 hours earlier than planned, and a negative variation on the hoisting task, which is expected to take 3 hours longer. The same variances are also correspondingly attributed to the cost in the cost tracking view. Project billing in project operations is supported by two levels of experiences. One, around pro forma invoicing, that helps a project manager review and make edits directly to the invoice. And two, a customer facing invoicing experience for a centralized billing department to be able to set up customized invoice layouts by customer, by contract, and also ensure that the correct date effective exchange rates and sales tax rates are applied on the project invoice. These tailored experiences help to send an accurate and timely invoice to customers to help optimize and reduce the overall days sales outstanding metric that is so important for the efficiency of a project-based practice. Project revenue recognition for fixed price projects is IFRS compliant and supports completed contract and percentage of completion methods of revenue recognition. Multiple methods of completion calculation are supported, ranging from manual to calculated with actual versus budgeted or forecasted, and straight line methods of completion. To summarize, the goal of project operations is to provide a comprehensive and user-friendly way to manage projects, both internal and billable projects, with experiences that are tailored for each phase and each persona that works with the project in that phase, right from the front-end customer-facing salespeople and project consultants to the middle tier project and resource managers to back-end project accountants. The data in the system and the charting capabilities with insights brings it all together for the high-level execs to have all the information they need to understand the health of the practice and drill down to identify trends and take remedial action as needed. Thank you very much for watching this session and hope you'll join us as we embark on this journey with project operations.